Hi guys, welcome back to the channel, FPL Consult here, and in today's video I'm going to share with you guys my Game Week 35 transfer plans. Now I'm not wildcarding this week. If you've been following my team all this season, I wildcarded way earlier in Game Week 28, and now I'm going to have to use free transfers to navigate these few game weeks leading up to the bench boost in double Game Week 37. So hopefully you guys do enjoy this video and find it useful. If you do enjoy it, please do drop a like and also subscribe as well if you are new around here. We're trying to hit 7.5k subscribers before the end of the season, so hopefully we can get there if each and every one of you guys who are watching just helps me out. It's a couple of seconds only. Just smash that button and I'll be very appreciative. Alright, so taking a look at my team now in Game Week 35, before we jump into my transfer plans, this is how it looks like. Over the course of Game Week 34, a couple of news here and there has come out that have thrown a spanner in the works, or at least the plans that I originally had. So a major one is Udogie, who currently, as we now know, is out for the rest of the season. He is red flagged, he had surgery done, and he's gonna miss the rest of the season, so he's not an option for double Game Week 35, nor is he an option for double Game Week 37, and I have to deal with him in time to come if it's not this week. So aside from that, I also have a couple of other issues. Ivan Toney in my team has been missing out quite a couple of games. He hasn't started, I think, the last 3 games, and he's still having that niggle in his ankle that has kept him out for so long, and I think it is time to move him on. So I will show you guys. I think it's a straightforward move this week to do Toney to Isak, but I think surrounding that as well, what other transfers do I want to make to set my team up for Game Week 37? That is what I do want to cover in this video. And also, Erling Haaland currently is yellow flagged. He was not included in the FA Cup squad at all, where Chelsea lost to Manchester City, so he wasn't involved in that game whatsoever. So he could be an issue. And currently, my bench is not looking very strong. Yes, I have Reguilon against Everton away. Reguilon has been doing pretty well. But do I want to bench Haaland and start Reguilon and double up on the Brentford defense against Everton away? So these are things I have to consider. Haaland being out may not be the best thing, but it could speed up some of my moves where I bring forward some transfers that I plan for later on now in Game Week 35. So roughly that's what I'm thinking about the transfers going into 35. In terms of the individual players for Game Week 35, I have Flecken in goal here. I'm choosing him ahead of Neto. I think the fixture is just slightly better. It's Everton away versus the Brighton at home game for Neto. So obviously I think Flecken stands a better chance of a clean sheet there. In defense, I have Gusto, who's this double game week player in defense that I have. He's the only double game week player, double game week defender that I will have. It's Aston Villa away and Tottenham at home. Now in general, when it comes to the defense for double game week 35, I'm not too concerned about wanting to transfer in Spurs players or transfer in Chelsea defenders, and that's because the fixtures are so poor, right? Aston Villa away and Tottenham at home is not a good set of fixtures for Chelsea defenders. Neither is Arsenal at home and Chelsea away for Tottenham defenders. So I'm all good and well to just have Gusto. And if Udogie isn't able to make it, which he isn't, I don't think I'll jump on Porro right away. Alright, so in terms of the other defenders, I have Gabriel, who has Tottenham away. And I also have Darlow, who has Burnley at home. I think there's a slight chance that you could consider maybe I go Reguilon ahead of Gabriel. But I do like the fact that Gabriel is playing Tottenham away, and Tottenham has been conceding a lot of set pieces, so he could very well profit from that as well. And then in midfield, it's Palmer, Salah, Garnacho, Saka, and Son. I'm perfectly fine with all these 5 midfielders. Palmer and Son double this week. Salah has West Ham away. West Ham have been conceding so many goals. I think this is a fixture he could profit from if he starts, of course, because there is a bit of a scare that he didn't start the Fulham game in the first fixture of double game week 34. So there's still one more game to go, the Everton game for Liverpool. If he starts that one, I think there's a bit of a concern now about his form as well. But hopefully he starts the Everton one, and from there on he continues to start for the rest of the season. It could just be a rest for Salah against Fulham. So if he plays against West Ham, I definitely fancy Salah's chances. And I also think that Salah is going to be a bit of a differential for non-wild carders, as opposed to people who are wildcarding. So I'm alright to keep him here. Hopefully he starts to pick up some form against West Ham. Burnley at home for Garnacho. The disciplinary issues are over now. He started in the FA Cup that Manchester United narrowly won Coventry City. So Garnacho should be fine. Burnley at home is a plum fixture for him. Saka has Tottenham away. There is a chance that I may want to transfer Saka out if I do have the intention to. I'll show you guys later on why this could be the case, and maybe Foden could come in his place. But for now, he's in the team. And then up front is Tony, who I mentioned already is an issue that I will have to sort out. Isak is probably going to slot right in for him. And then Haaland, yellow flagged. What do I do with him? So with all of this in mind, I have also 0.0 million in the bank, so do bear that in mind. And I also only have one free transfer. So if I make 2 transfers this week, which I'm likely to, that'll be a -4 as well. So let's jump on over to the transfer tinkering tool, and I'll show you guys what I plan to do from now all the way till my bench boost in game week 37. So this is my team on the fpl.team transfer planner, exactly as shown in the graphic just now. And what we're going to do now is exactly what I advise everyone to do now in Game Week 35, which is to go forward 2 game weeks into Game Week 37. Take a look at the team that you want, whether or not you are bench boosting. Have a look at 37, set your team up, and then work backwards from there to plan your transfers for Game Week 35, because double Game Week 37 is what we are all planning towards right now. Is the biggest double game week left of the season. So you have to make sure that your team is well set up for that one. For myself, I am bench boosting in 37, as I've mentioned already, so I have to make sure that my team, all 15 players, are well set up. So let's move forward into Game Week 37 now. By then, I would have 3 free transfers, 1 in 35, 1 in 36, 1 in 37, and plus however many more transfers that I want to make, but those would be for hits. So looking at Game Week 37 now, I'm going to make changes to my players such that I will end up with a team I'm happy with in Game Week 37. And bearing in mind as well, I do have quite a number of Brentford players. I also have single game week keepers here. So in general, some sacrifices have to be made. I know I will not be able to reach a full 15 squad of double game week players. So it's really a question of how many ideal single game week players can I keep hold on to, put them on the bench, and then bench boost. So with that thinking in mind, this is my Game Week 37 squad. And I'm going to make some changes to it. So if I'm bench boosting, Udogie definitely has to leave the team. The player that I intend to bring in for him for now is Vardiel. Looking at Morris as well, he's going to leave the team by Game Week 37. The player that I have for him as a replacement is João Pedro. He's on penalties for Brentford. He's back in the starting 11 already. He's back fit for Brighton as well, hoping by the time 37 comes around, he'll be starting consistently as well. So those are the 2 transfers for the bench. And then for Ivan Toney, I definitely want to remove him for Alexander Isak. As I've mentioned, this move is already one that I plan to make now in 35. So Isak would definitely be in the team come 37. So those 3 transfers, I've already made 3 changes. I still want to make more changes. And that's one more change for Saka out to Phil Foden. So when I look at this team now, after I've made these 4 transfers, it says for a -8 here. But do bear in mind that that's because I'm fast forwarding to Game Week 37. Later on, you will see I have 3 free transfers, 1 in 35, 36, and 37. So essentially, this is for a -4. So taking a look at the team now, I'm going to put all the double Game Week players into my starting 11. Let me just, if I can just do it quickly. Varial in for Gabriel. Alright, so essentially what I've done is I've put all my double game week players into the starting 11. The only one that has a single game week is the keeper, Flecken. And then this would be likely how my bench is looking like. So Neto, Reguilon, Salah, and Gabriel. Am I happy with this bench? I think it's not ideal. It's no double game week players there. But am I alright to bench boost with this bench? I think it's fine. Right, Gabriel could definitely do well against Manchester United. He could get a header as well. He's a player with a high ceiling. He could act as a good differential against those who are on maybe some double game week players in Gabriel's position. For Salah as well, we know what Salah can do. This Salah position could very well be Saka if I decide that I want to sell Salah instead of Saka for Foden. So what I mean by this is if I bring Saka back in and I sell Salah out for Foden, Essentially, I'm just changing who I remove to bring Foden in, and then Saka will be on the bench. So that decision can be made much later on, but essentially that would take up one midfield spot on the bench as well. So that Saka and Gabriel against Manchester United away, it's not bad at all. If it's Salah, so be it. Those are pretty decent players, and they are on penalties as well, both of them. And then there's Reguilon, who has been doing consistently well very recently since Mbeumo come back into the squad. I think Brentford has looked a lot better. Hopefully Tony is back as well, and then Brentford can get things going. But I do like the prospect of Reguilon against Bournemouth away as a differential. And then I have the Bournemouth keeper here on the bench, who I think I could consider to remove for an extra hit. So already taking a -4 to make these 4 transfers, I could take a -8 to make a total of 5 transfers by game week 37. So that would be Neto out for Dubravka. So that's also what I'm considering. So this in total would be 5 transfers made for a -8. So let's move back now to game week 35. And before I do that, let me just recap the transfer. So it's Udogie out for Vardiol. Does that move need to be fast forwarded to game week 35? Do I have to make it now? I don't think so. The Foden move, do I have to move it now into game week 35 and sell Salah or Saka immediately? I don't think so. Saka has Tottenham away. Salah has West Ham. I definitely think Saka and Salah could do well in game week 35, so I don't see the rush to get Foden in. As for the other 2 transfers that I've made, it's Isak in for Tony. That one is definitely a lock, so I'll move to game week 35 later on and I'll lock in that transfer. For the João Pedro transfer in for Carlton Morris, this one slightly depends on the Erling Haaland situation, which we'll see later on when I go back to game week 35. But if not, then the last transfer is Dubravka. I'm still sitting on this one, not sure about it. Right, so we'll go back to game week 35 now. And as I've mentioned, the Isak move is locked in. So let's lock this move in. Then if we get news that Erling Haaland is not fit for the Nottingham Forest game, if he's set to miss that game, then I think there are a couple of options here for me. I can choose to start Reguilon and bench Erling Haaland, but that may not be ideal because then I would be going double Brentford defense against Everton away. So not too keen on that one. So let's reverse that, but that is one option. Another one is to sell Carlton Morris for João Pedro and basically bring forward that João Pedro move now into game week 35 and thereafter start João Pedro ahead of Haaland. Okay, but currently it shows that I am -0.3 short. I currently can afford this move. It's just that the transfer prices have not been updated yet. But that is one option for me, which is the one that I'm favoring right now. Starting João Pedro instead of Haaland if Haaland misses out. Let's say I don't want to do this move or I'm priced out by the time the price changes come around because loads of people are wildcarding. Price fluctuations could be quite high this week. So if I'm not able to afford that move this week, then I think the next best option is also Udogie out for Vardiol. So I could bring forward that move now into game week 35 and then start Vardiol instead of Haaland. So a couple of options for me, and I think it largely depends on whether Erling Haaland is fit or not. The ideal situation is, of course, that Erling Haaland is fit. I don't have to make any extra transfers this week. I keep my bench exactly as is shown in the graphic now, and I'd only just have to do the Tony out for Isak move. So there we go with my double game week 35 transfer plans. Let me know what you think of my plans leading up to the bench boost in 37. And for those of you guys in similar situations to me, and you are thinking of having some single game week players on your bench, you're unable to get to all double game week players, who are the ones that you are keeping on your bench? Let me know down in the comments below. And of course, if I've missed out any players as well that I have to have on the bench boost, please drop it in the comments as well. But if not, thank you guys for watching to this point. I hope it was useful for you. I did ramble on a bit, but I do think that it's important for us to always have a look into the future, into game week 37, what players you want, and then bring them forward now into game week 35. But if not, I'll see you guys in more Gameweek 35 content. I hope you liked this video. If you liked it, please do drop a like and also subscribe if you are new around here. We're trying to hit 7.5k subscribers before the end of the season. So if you're able to, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please do spare a second or two just to hit that button, and that would really be helpful in the long run to help the channel get to 7.5k subscribers. But if not, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys in more Gameweek 35 content coming very soon. Bye-bye.